from here, and she gets the elbow cut back and she goes to my waist. Okay. Now, from here, if we feel, we can lift the leg, like if we're both on a hip, we feel like we can lift the leg and she goes to get up. We lift the leg up, or if not, and once again, we just go right into an arm and guillotine. We put our sumigashi hook in, and then we take our partner over, and we go into all of our follow-up attacks with submissions or positional work. So very similar, except for the fact that she's heisting. We don't have control of the leg, so the heist comes a lot faster, and things are pretty similar, but there are some subtle differences, but it's relatively the same position as your partner goes to start heisting up and try to use that overback effectively. All right, so now let's look at a situation where my partner heists, okay, just adding things from the half guard section. My partner heists up to this overback grip, heists, and we end up in a situation like so, where now from here, what you can start encountering is that your partner will start stepping this leg up around your far hip, just like around your far hip, and locking inside of her own hamstring. Okay, again, this shouldn't be a thing that's happening to you. Like if you're here and your legs are like crushed together inside your partner's knees, like you kind of deserve to get beat from here. So like before this happens, obviously we're always controlling that hip. So the second she goes to reach for her hamstring, we're constantly beating our partner's knee and hip with our knee. So now when she goes to grab inside of her own hamstring, now we're doing the leg riding and we're winning this position. But if you do get beat in a situation like this, you're in a kind of a crisis scenario now. Okay, because of the fact that my base support is compromised, I can't step my legs up from here. I'm in a bad spot from this position. Okay, you see people do things where they're trying to reach down and separate. This is never going to work. Okay, what she's looking to do from here is drive this knee across and get weight on this knee to flatten you out in positions like this, where now she can start dominating your far hip, and now the overback exposes your back, and she's doing all the things to us that we wanted to do to her before. Okay. There's a very, very specific way to separate this grip, which I know because Craig tried it on me about 74,000 times in training, and I just took his back every time off of it. If you do it the wrong way, you will start to run into problems. When people come up into this position and they start stepping this up like so, and they grab inside their own hamstring, what everyone tries to do is they try to push the leg down. That's not what I do. I push, come out. I push directly into the shoulder so that the shoulder starts moving down and away. Once the shoulder starts moving down and she can't posture up anymore from here, then I can start splitting the connection of the knee and the elbow. Okay, the closer her knees and elbows are together, the tighter the lock is going to be. So the whole thing is I need to start pressuring down onto the shoulder. That puts tension running through the arm. And then I can pop, pop, pop and separate the grips. Okay? So what she needs from this position is she needs to start building posture. And now, as she builds posture, she needs to start driving across the body and flattening me out from here. Okay, so she needs height. So the second I find myself in this position, lock up. The second I find myself in this position, all we're going to start to look to do is we're going to look to start turning into a situation where I can start putting weight back over my partner's shoulder. As we go to do this, the first thing we're going to look to start doing is leaning towards our partner. So we have a belly whizzer in here, and we're just going to put a thigh pry in on our partner's far thigh like so. So now, as she goes to keep everything in strong, we're just going to posture, posture, posture. So when she tries to posture up, that thigh pry and the post on the leg is going to make it hard. So now from here, we can just pump 1, 2, 3 and separate. And now we can take our knee out and we can start beating our partner from this position. So if we can create an angle, if she steps over, she beats me here, whether it be from half guard or side control, whatever the case is, the first thing we're going to do is take a belly whizzer and a far side thigh pry. And we're going to post on the knee. So now when she goes to beat me, we can separate and play our game. Now the problem starts to arise when you start to get knocked over to the far hip here, okay, where she starts to bring the knee down to the floor and you start to get knocked into a situation like this. Okay, whenever I fall into a position like this, if my legs get figure forward, you're going to get beat from this position. Okay, so when I initially fall into this position, I make sure my legs stay relatively bent and I don't fall all the way down to my back. As I'm falling in this position, I'm already extending, and I actually capitulate down to my back. Okay, so what I do is I fall faster than she wants me to go. If I fall and I track her movement, she beats me. So what I do is I throw my back to the floor and I aggressively push, pump, 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 pump. So that as she goes to start beating me from this position and bring her knee to the floor outside my hip, go ahead. We push the knee down as we fall. So now we fall into a position where we have our knee outside her hip. When she tries to reach back cross-face from here, I keep weight over the hands. And now from here, it's all about just creating an angle where we can start exposing the back. Now, if she tries to take her back to the floor from here, you have cross body ride, and we just go into our normal cross body ride attacks. If she tries to start getting up to turtle position from here, then we build height and we're ready to start heisting. So if I feel she comes up, and as she goes to heist, she beats me, and I'm here. It should never really happen to you, but it can happen. If I feel this, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pressure back into the shoulder. Okay, this brings her head down. So when she goes to build height, we make it hard. We just pump, pump, pump. Lock tight. We separate. If I feel I'm getting knocked over, as we get knocked over, we resist, 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 and then we immediately fall quickly so that we can separate her hands. If I just fall and her knee goes to the floor, lock it. And her knee goes to the floor, and I try to push from here, I'll never be able to separate it because that is weight on the knee. So, before we hit the floor, I just throw my back to the floor and quickly push the knee down before the knee is weighted. So as she goes to drive across, we push the knee through. And now right from here, wherever we choose to go, wherever she goes, we can go in and start to attack. So in the event that she comes up and tries to grab her own hamstring, number one, it should never happen because she's already getting your knees outside of her legs and start to attack her back. If she does, and I can lean into her with that belly whizzer and kind of like a reverse thigh pry, then we can start leaning into her and start separating and get the knee back outside. If she goes to drive me down and I can't break the posture, I need to separate the knee before the knee hits the floor, push, 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 shove it between my legs, and then immediately cut an angle to start attacking her back. That way, even if she gets on top of me, I still have my knee outside her hip, and I can start dominating the exchanges right from there. Okay, so getting a little bit deeper into the exchange, but that's a pretty important thing that can happen. It shouldn't really happen to you, but if it does happen and you don't know what to do, you can get beat from there. All right, so these are counters to most of the overback things that we saw. First of all, these are counters to most of the overback moves that actually work. So like these are the reactions, if I'm countering from top position, these are the things that my opponent is actually going to be doing for the most part from bottom position, okay? She's gonna be playing a game where she either tries to, like you don't even see, like Craig ever, I don't know if you talked about it in the first one, but you don't even see in competition ever try to use elbow cutbacks. Elbow cutbacks are like one of the foundations of this system. Like using the overback in conjunction with the elbow cutback to have like multi-directional attacks rather than just like unidirectional coming up and playing from like a belly down position. But playing a combination of trying to bring knees inside, belly up, trying to get a near side knee inside to start exposing the back or sweeps or whatever the case is. Trying to start coming into a belly down position to start exposing the back. And then when we feel like those are failing, using elbow cutbacks in conjunction to start with the belly down attacks to start coming into attacks on the near side leg and start wrestling up into single legs, moving into lower leg shifts, into half guard, deep half guard, ashigramis, things like that. The positions that I reviewed in the second Octopus 2.0 are positions that if you get into these positions, you can get screwed. Like if he comes up and steps over your hips, like you can get beat badly in these positions. But this is like a thing where like so many things has to go wrong. This is like when I have someone back, for example. if I like have someone's back, for example, and I have like a bottom side trap on an arm, and I like manage to take my partner's hand and like put it all the way behind the back like this, and like tuck it behind the back, and then like bring this up and like trap an elbow. Like this is like the worst position you can be in the sport, but like how many times do you see this happen? It's almost never. Like there's so many things that has to go wrong for her to end up in this position that you almost never see it. And it's the same kind of deal with positions where you just end up with this overback grip or overwrap of the leg, where like your hips are just like your knees are pinned together, and you're just stuck in a position like this. And I like to make things worse. She's like, oh, well, the person from here would just go in and try to take my back. It's like, this is the worst reaction that you could possibly give someone, is like taking your base of support away. Like the base of support for your knees is already taken away because you fucked up so many times. Now I'm going to take away all my base of support by going in and locking my hands, so that now you can just walk around my hips and just pin me in situations like this. Like no one's going to do this. So like if you end up in positions like this and you've already done like 30 things wrong, you still have to do like another 5 things wrong to actually get beat from these positions. So we looked at not only situations that would actually occur and are high percentage, because this overback grip you can use it very effectively as a scrimmaging position. It's more to win scrimmages than it is like a game to base your guard around. But the way that it's being taught in modern day jiu-jitsu is just based around low-level people or ukes giving reactions that you would just never see anybody high-level do. So we looked at the high-level reactions that we're going to be using. And we also looked at the low-level reactions that you would see, and we just covered those just to cover them. Most of the time, when we're thinking about this position, everyone is focused on the upper body grip. So it's the overback itself that everyone's focused on, because of the fact that everyone's like, oh, octopus has a cool name, the overback grip. Everyone sees this overback grip and they focus on the upper body position. What wins the battle is the lower body position. If your partner's knees can dominate your hips, they're going to win the battle. If your knees can dominate their hips, you're going to win the battle. The whole battle is fought at the lower body. This grip just sets everything up from here. But if her knee can get outside my hip from here, she's going to win this battle. Okay, now she should be able. She's at least has the advantage from here. This should never be happening. Okay. The second I see that anyone goes to start turning up towards me, I'm immediately just getting ready and prepping my attacks by opening up my legs and getting my knees around her legs and hips. So now, wherever she chooses to go from here, I'm always in the driver's seat, ready to go into all of my attacks. So whenever I see someone starts to play in this position, I'm either one, just flattening my partner out outright and stepping over the legs, okay, and dominating the hips. And where if I step over the legs, like if we're in a butterfly half guard, for example, any of these positions, if I step over the legs, now my partner's hips are between my knees. Now I've won the battle. If I pin the hip, now my partner's hips are between my knees, and I've won the battle. If she goes to start heisting towards me, now my partner's hips are between my knees, and I've won the battle. Okay, so if you can put your partner's hips between your knees, you're going to win these battles. Okay, if your partner can put your hips between their knees, then they're going to win the battles. That's just it's pretty much as simple as that. Okay, so whenever I find myself in this position, I focus less on the upper body grips. Yes, you can do elbow cutbacks. Yes, you can do reach back cross faces, and the upper body escapes do work. But the most effective thing that you can focus on is just putting your partner's hips between your knees. And if you can do that, you're going to win this battle 9 times out of 10. Okay. That being said, we are going to move now into some buggy defenses, another low percentage move, and then some like stupid Darce shit that he did that we're going to go over as well, and then actual Darce escapes that like we'll work on like high level people. So hopefully you guys enjoy that overback little series there. Those are like all the low percentage and high percentage reactions you're going to get, and why the high percentage stuff works, why the low percentage stuff doesn't. But obviously if you're training against blue belts, like you're going to get these reactions. So we went over them.